1230.com.
Yo, turn it up. It's Gerod on the air, spitting truth in the booth. We ain't going nowhere. New Orleans City got us hard in the beat, but corruption creeping in, gotta take back the street. But corruption creeping in, gotta take back the street. From the French Quarter vibes to the Ninth Ward grind, he's the voice of the people, yo, he's one of a kind. Talking about the struggle, the hustle, the pain, but with each word he drops, he's bringing power to the game. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Try to silence the truth, but he's loud and clear. From the bayou to the block, everyone can hear. Got the people united, it's a movement, no doubt. With his mic in hand, he's breaking all the clout. City eat the official scheming, yeah, they playing it slick. But Gerod's on the line and he's ready to kick. For the schools and the streets, he's fighting the fight. With a heart full of passion, he's igniting the night. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. From the jazz in the streets to the gumbo pot, he's the pulse of the city, giving all he's got. Together we rise, united we stand. With Gerod on the radio, we're taking back our land. So tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. In the streets to the gumbo pot, he's the pulse of the city, giving all he's got. Together we rise, united we stand. With Gerod on the radio, we're taking back our land. So tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Yeah, tune in out, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Yeah, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it loud, let's uplift this place.
Let's uplift this place. I said it in my very way, boys.
Yeah.
Show you right. Your mic is not on.
I want to see you lift this place.
Uplift this place.
Come on, Hercules.
Yeah.
Hercules.
Hercules, nothing. Be like, sit down before you get a hemorrhoid or something. So, welcome, folks. Welcome to Tuesday afternoon's edition of the Reality Check. Ladies and gentlemen, she is in the building. Looking spectacular.
I'm here.
Fabulous. How you doing?
I am doing well, Gerod.
Okay?
How are you?
You doing okay? You'll never let me live that part down.
I will never let you live that down.
How you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, the fabnificent.
Fabnificent. That's a whole new word.
That's a whole nother word. Mm-hmm. The one, the only, attorney Suzette Bank-Naris in the building. How's it going?
It's going well, Gerod.
You had a lot going on today.
I had a lot going on today. I had depositions since early this morning. Just got out about 30, 40 minutes ago and headed on over.
Your phone ringing off the hook.
It is. It is ringing off the hook.
The Since, well, everybody knows that I'm over at the office, but I was over there with Stacy today, and the phone is ringing off the hook from the number of folks that are calling the office that did not know about the building over on the West Bank in New Orleans, or that's Harvey.
In Harvey.
Did not know that about that building, but they are learning, and the word is getting out. And I tell everybody, you know what, you need to, if you were in the DMV building or the food stamp office over in Harvey for a number of years from 19.
Yeah, 2019 to 2024 is the time period that I'm most concerned with. What's a shame is that we're the ones telling people about this issue,
Right.
and that it was not explained to them by the state of Louisiana, who owned the building
Right.
while they were working there. It came to our attention because we were contacted by one lady who had worked there for a very long time, who had contracted lung cancer. And then when she went to a physician, a pulmonologist, about the lung cancer, she was told, I've been seeing a lot of people who worked in the Harvey State Office building located at 2150 West Bank Expressway, who have also contracted lung cancer, throat cancer, all these different things. And so based upon that, she started to do a little investigation and learned that there was uncapped asbestos in that building after Hurricane Ida, which would have been in August of 2021. That's why we're looking for a time period, let's say, of 2019 through 2024, because in 2024, the state moved them out of that office building and moved them to a new facility in Jefferson Parish.
But it's not like they didn't know.
It's not like they didn't know, but they didn't disclose is
Right.
the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, during post-storm assessments, it's our understanding that uncapped or freeable asbestos was detected in standing water on the first floor of the building, creating a hazardous and unsafe condition for all of those who were housed there. So we're looking into it. We're investigating it. And so I'm very eager to speak to anyone who was in that building during that time and may have some information about the uncapped asbestos and those findings in that building.
And you can call the law office right now. You don't have to wait just to have a conversation with the attorney extraordinaire, but the other student attorney.
Stacy. Yeah, Stacy's eager to speak with you. I mean, look, the more we learn, the more we're able to help people. So, right now we're just in a fact gathering posture. And so I really would appreciate it if anyone with information would give us a call.
And you can call the office at 504
810
yeah,
3995.
810-3995. 504-810-3995. Make sure you call the office so that you can have that conversation, especially if you're there during that time frame, 2019 to current?
2024.
2024? Okay. During that time and you were working there, 'cause I was surprised just to hear some of the folks that were like, I used to work there during that time frame.
I've heard from several people who have had various forms of cancer diagnoses. Now, some cancers are not related to asbestos exposure. So give us a call. We'll let you know if whether or not the cancer that you have is related or have been diagnosed with is related to asbestos exposure.
Yeah, we need to know. We need to know.
And you need to know.
Yep.
If you work there, I think, more so than anything, you need to go get a checkup.
Right.
And just make sure that, you don't have a medical problem that you may not know about.
Right, exactly. I will tell her why you do that? You know I was gonna crack up. I had gotten to the point where I was like, okay, it's good. We can talk about it on the air, but we talked about it, yesterday as well. We put up the new ad on Facebook and a couple of other medias. I think it's also on Instagram too, about you talking about, hey, look, this is what we got. This is what's going on. So the word is getting out.
Right. I also need the word to get out that we did certify that class action for the Kennedy High School class of 2019, the Kennedy High School class of 2020, and their parents and guardians. So if you know someone who was in either of those two classes or their parents, please tell them that they may be entitled to compensation as a result of the class action that has now been certified. So please give us a call.
Wait a minute. And the parents?
Yeah, the parents as well are part of the certified class.
Oh, wow. How they do that?
Because, think about this.
Emotional?
You wait all this time for your child to reach this landmark of graduating from high school. You've done all the things to prepare your kid for this landmark moment, including, prom, senior ring, all these things, graduation pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You're there with the entire family. You think your kid has graduated only to find out your kid has not, and either has had to repeat the year, go to summer school, just it's a whole mess. And it was very traumatic for those parents.
Right.
And even the parents of the class of 2020 had to watch their kids undergo the Herculean task of getting eligible to graduate by the time they were coming up board. And they had to have a Maymester semester, an additional semester to get them eligible to graduate in the class of 2020. So it was a very stressful period for students and parents. And the court agreed and certified the class to include the parents and guardians.
Oh, wow. So if your child went through this.
Yes, class of 2019, class of 2020, and their parents and guardians.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. You got me on that one. I knew about the kids because it was almost like a celebration just to know that the court agreed with you.
Yes.
On this. Wow, that's interesting. So I know you've been working hard on this. How long now? 2-3 years?
2019.
Ooh.
So we've been working on that case since June of 2019.
It does not seem that long. It does not. But I'm glad that it's gotten where it is.
Yes.
All right. So today's big conversation is going to be one of those that a lot of folks probably not prepared for, but you better get prepared because it's something that we've been researching, something we've been doing the work on, something that we've been getting all the telephone calls about from everywhere, from all across the country, including Spokane, Washington.
Correct. I mean, I want to reiterate that. We don't just pull these shows out of the air. We do research on it. We have credible sources about it. And then we come on here and we report about it.
Right.
This is not something that we're making up. And we're not going to be silent about these issues. We're going to address them. We're going to bring them up, and we're not going to be intimidated.
Nope. Some people think that we are, but we're
but
not.
we're not.
We're
No,
not.
we're
at
not.
all.
So, we're going to slow this conversation down right now because what we are talking about is serious. It does not just have ramifications for one officer, not just for one police department, but for the integrity of policing itself. When whistleblowers inside law enforcement speak up, the public often assumes the system is going to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
But history and the courts tell a very different story. What we see instead, time and time again, is retaliation disguised as discipline. I'm going to say that sentence again because that's important. Retaliation disguised as discipline. Investigations lodged against whistleblower officers that go nowhere. Credibility attacks labeled as dishonesty or untruthfulness. And careers destroyed not for misconduct, but for speaking out, for speaking truth.
Right.
So today we're going to be joined by someone who actually litigated this playbook and has taken it all the way to a jury.
Mm-hmm.
Today we will be joined by Bob Dunn. He's a civil rights attorney out of Spokane, Washington. He represented Detective Jay Mering in a landmark retaliation case against then Police Chief Ann Kirkpatrick when she was in Spokane, Washington. That case didn't end quietly. A jury found retaliation, abuse of authority, and went so far as to impose personal liability on Chief Kirkpatrick herself.
And let's discuss that for those of you that don't know about personal liability. Even though that she was an employee of the Commonwealth of the city, she also has her own personal monies that had to go into this case. I think the case itself was somewhere in the neighborhood of about $700,000.
Correct.
And $250,000 came out of her purse.
Absolutely.
With this case. So this can end up bad in several different situations, whether it is for the municipality itself or your personal liability. So you really need to watch how these things are being portrayed, who's getting on board on some of these cases. If you know it's not a case, stop trying to do these personal favors for folks, because you're going to find out that you're going to be part of the litigants and you're going to have a problem.
And today we're going to be joined by someone who actually handled the case. I
Right.
mean, who best to talk about this case than the lawyer that handled it?
He's going to join us at 5:00.
Right.
At 5:00, Bob Dean is going to join us. Bob Dean. Bob
Bob
Dunn.
Dunn.
Dunn is going to join us at 5:00. As Bob Dean joins us at 5:00, I'm leaving. So
You're right about that.
But Bob Dunn is going to join us at 5:00 today to run us through what this case was all about, and is this the same MO that we're looking at with this case against Chad Cockerham?
You know, as I looked at the facts of the Chad Cockerham situation and the facts of the Merring case, to me, the fact pattern seems to be what we call in lawyer terms analogous.
Mm-hmm.
A very similar fact pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to hear it from the horse's mouth. You know, exactly what occurred in that case, what kinds of threats were made, what kind of retaliation did Jay Merring suffer, and how the jury viewed all of that.
Right. And do the comparisons, y'all. You'll be able to do the comparisons. Because not only are we coming up here taking up and having a conversation, I don't even know if we're really taking up. We're looking at the information.
I'm looking at the facts.
The facts. And the Chad Cockerham case, it seems that everybody that is looking at this case that has anything to do with law enforcement, they're all on one side, and then you've got the brass and the OIG's office on the other side. And I've even got a statement from several folks. As a matter of fact, we just got a statement just this week from the Black Organization of Police, and I'm going to read it. It says, Black Organization of Police is closely monitoring the Chad Cockerham case and is deeply concerned about the dangerous precedent being set by the Inspector General's office conducting administrative investigations of New Orleans Police Department officers. Of particular concern is the recent embedding of the Inspector General's office within the Public Integrity Bureau. This structural shift raises significant questions about independence, authority, and the erosion of long-standing procedural safeguards afforded to law enforcement officers under Louisiana law. Equally troubling is the timeliness of this investigation. Prolonged delays and procedural irregularities raise the strong possibility of multiple violations of Louisiana Revised Statute 40-2531, rights of law enforcement officers while under investigation. These statutory protections are not optional. They exist to ensure fairness, due process, accountability within administrative investigation. Any attempt to circumvent or dilute the rights guaranteed under Revised Statute 40-2531 undermines not only the individual officers involved, but the integrity of the entire disciplinary process, allowing investigative overreach or statutory violations to go unchecked, sets a precedent that threatens every officer and weakens public confidence in the fair and lawful system. The Black Organization of Police will continue to closely observe this matter and will not hesitate to take appropriate action to ensure the rights of officers are upheld and that all investigations are conducted in strict compliance with the law. It's signed by the Black Organization of Police.
That's a very strong statement.
Yep.
And, you know, I think it's a very important statement. You know, we all talk about and have heard about this blue wall, right? And the blue wall is this silence, you know, among officers to not talk about when someone else has done something wrong within the police department. The blue wall, often called the blue wall of silence, is an unwritten, informal code within policing that pressures officers to protect one another and the institution, even when misconduct occurs. It is not a policy, it is not written down, and it's not officially acknowledged, but it is widely recognized by courts, by civil rights investigators, prosecutors, and police officers themselves. And at its core, the blue wall says, don't tell on other officers and you don't challenge command.
Right.
And it operates through loyalty pressure, fear of retaliation, career consequences, social isolation, and threats of discipline or termination. And here we have officers who are blowing the whistle on things that are going wrong in the department and they are getting retaliated against as a result. We don't want that as the public. And really, it's going to have an adverse impact upon all of us. But of course, when our community gets a Band-Aid, more of us, in the black community, seem to be on the receiving end of it. So we don't want this blue wall of silence. Now, I also want to address this. The Black Police Association also mentioned the integrity of a fair hearing, due process. And I just want to say what I have heard about this particular hearing with Chad Cockerham is that this civil service hearing was not fair at all.
Nope.
In Louisiana, in a civil service hearing, the officer's attorney absolutely has the right to speak and to ask questions. This is not discretionary. It's a core due process protection. The officer's attorney may examine and cross-examine witnesses, object to evidence, argue motions, make open and closing statements, and present legal arguments. And any attempt to silence counsel it constitutes reversible error.
Now, from what we understand in this hearing was the fact that the powers that be did not let the attorney representing Mr. Cockerham speak.
At all. And did not allow her to cross-examine any of the alleged witnesses. Didn't show her a shred of evidence in support of their position. Therefore, she could not object to the evidence because the evidence was never shown to her. She did not get a chance to argue any motions. She did not get a chance to make an opening statement or a closing argument. She did not get a chance to present a legal argument at all. Her client was in there speaking up for himself, truly unrepresented, because the lawyer couldn't say anything.
And she was there.
That's
a violation of the Bill of Rights for police officers.
It is also a violation of Louisiana Constitution, Article 10, Section 8A. A classified civil servant may be disciplined only for cause and after due process. Right. And due process includes notice, a meaningful opportunity to be heard, which was not what happened here, and representation by counsel, which was impeded.
And I don't even know why this even happened.
I don't understand it. Civil service hearings are adjudicatory proceedings, not informal meetings. And under the Louisiana State Civil Service rules and local commission rules, the employee may be represented by counsel. And representation means being able to cross-examine, question, present evidence, and make legal arguments. And a hearing where counsel cannot participate is a sham. It's a sham. It fails due process standards.
So basically what we're saying here, and I think I could say this, is that Mr. Cockerham's rights were violated.
In my opinion, his rights were violated.
Let's take our first break. We'll take our first break here. We'll come back, have some more conversation. Don't go nowhere. Y'all might want to tell somebody that this is happening today because we know that we're being monitored today, and I'm glad because maybe y'all will learn something.
Share the show.
More coming up.
Hey, this is Dave Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen to longer.
My wife was frying okra. She's from Mississippi, so that's her favorite thing to do. She left the burner on high, and it didn't take long to ignite. So I ran to the stove, grabbed the pot, and that's when I got burned from a grease fire. And yes, the pain was, it was bad. Oh, Blue Cross treated me great with the recovery process. On the financial side, ooh, it would be expensive without Blue Cross. And that's what I was worrying about because I was out of work for 3 months. I'm Chad. I'm from Baton Rouge, and I had Blue Cross for 10 years. I don't eat fried okra. That's the funny story.
Louisiana Blue. The right card, the right care.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another open enrollment update. Who do I have on the line today?
Hi, you're speaking with Vanessa Scott of BSG of Louisiana.
Can you tell us a little bit about what is open enrollment?
The open enrollment period is for Medicare members that want to change from one plan to another.
Why is open enrollment so important?
Because a lot of people missed out on the annual enrollment period, so they need to have a one-on-one review.
And if you have questions or concerns about your Medicare plans, what should you do?
You just pick up the phone, call 504-621-3687. We even come out to your house. Zero cost to them.
Get with BSG of Louisiana for your Medicare review.
For church groups, senior communities, or disability organizations, call 504-621-3687. We are an independent insurance agency providing information about Medicare-related insurance plans. We are not connected or endorsed by Medicare or the U.S. government.
LifeCare provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that, if left unattended, will burden your family tremendously. Benefits include a guaranteed premium that will never increase, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, call LifeCare at 800-571-9955. That's 800-571-9955. 800-571-9955.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Our number 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. She is joining us early. Yes, indeed. I love it when she come through first thing during the week, and because to get you all hyped up. The attorney extraordinaire is in the building, y'all. Suzette Bagnaris from the Bagnaris Law Firm in the building. We're learning a whole bunch of stuff. As you can see, all the investigative stuff that we have here, from memos, from folks that are sending us stuff, and of course, just taking a look at the operations manual that the police department is supposed to be operating by.
Well, this is actually a state statute. The Louisiana has a police officer's Bill of Rights. It's a statutory set of due process protections that applies whenever a law enforcement officer is investigated or disciplined. It's found at Louisiana Revised Statute 40:2531. And this provision, this Bill of Rights really has real teeth. Violations can invalidate discipline and expose the department to liability. So what is it? It's a law that guarantees fair treatment, notice, and procedural protections for peace officers during internal investigations and disciplinary proceedings. It exists to prevent railroading, retaliation, secret investigations, and predetermined discipline. Who is protected by this law? Municipal police officers, sheriff's deputies, and state police officers. And it applies whenever the investigation could lead to discipline including internal affairs, administrative investigations, and professional conduct reviews.
So we went through the administrative investigation. I don't know what else was supposed to be done except an administrative investigation. Then we find out that there might be, or could be, I'll say allegedly until we got that, there could be a criminal investigation that was also put on there, but we're trying to figure out why.
We're trying to figure out why. It looks like it's retaliation to me, but we're going to figure out why.
Plus, okay, so look at the violations. You did break that down, but this was also broken down in the Louisiana Police Officer Bill of Rights, which is that statute 402531. Failure to record interrogations in full. They're supposed to record this stuff, right?
Correct.
Okay, so was that recorded in full? Denial of counsel's participation. We just discussed that.
Absolutely.
So that's in the Bill of Rights too. So you go into a hearing, Mr. Cockerham has his attorney there, and you will not even let her represent her client.
And you won't show her the evidence against her client.
And you have no evidence. I'm going to just say you have no evidence because you didn't show it. Exceeding the 75-day investigation limit without proper extension. That right there made me go, what? 75 days? He is 18 months into this investigation. 18 months. Failure to provide timely notice of completed investigation. No notice of being completed at all. None. And
Matter
you're 18
of fact, he
months
still
in.
doesn't have the judgment from the hearing.
Right. Absolutely nullity of disciplinary action taken without compliance. Nothing. He doesn't have any. He's sitting. I hate to say it. He's just sitting there. He's just sitting there trying to figure out what.
They violated his Bill of Rights, in my opinion, from jump.
Right.
Because as an officer, he has a right to be informed of the nature of the investigation and know what conduct is being investigated. And he has the right to be advised when an interview is part of a disciplinary investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they won't even show him the alleged complaint that they say he filed, and they won't provide him with the documentation of what device it came from, when it was sent. Like they're hiding the ball and then asking this man to answer their questions while they're hiding the ball.
And in this hearing, it was a disciplinary hearing. It was a disciplinary hearing, not a civil service hearing.
Right.
So we want to make sure we clarify that.
It still applies.
Yeah.
And the right to counsel, an officer has a right to be represented by an attorney or representative and to have counsel present during questioning and to consult with that counsel before answering questions. Limiting or silencing counsel is a statutory violation, and that is exactly what we understand happened. He has the right to fair questioning. So interrogations must occur at a reasonable time, be conducted by identified investigators, be for a reasonable duration, and not be abusive, coercive, or threatening. So not allowing his lawyer to be able to object to anything or to question anybody else, that violates his rights. And here where they're trying to investigate him criminally, if an officer is compelled to answer questions, statements that he makes cannot be used criminally. They may only be used for administrative purposes.
Right.
Exactly. So, I mean, it seems like they have just blown this entire investigation and violated his rights when you read this police officer's Bill of Rights
and it's in
view
manual
of what occurred.
And
exactly.
y'all trying to get out of the consent decree? You're trying to get out of the consent decree, but you're violating your officer's rights. Okay. Why? And then the other part of this is it makes me go, why is the OIG trying to be involved in this investigation?
Well, what blows my mind is how Ann Kirkpatrick can be the complainant and the one who signs off on the findings.
Now, we brought that too. We talked about that last week.
Right.
But what I'm hearing is the fact that folks are telling me is because the other departments that's supposed to sign off on it, like NPIB, know that this is not a good case, and they're saying we're not going to put our names.
So they're hanging her out to dry.
And
They're
so
going to leave her out on an island where she can get sued and where the department gets sued, and unfortunately where the city of New Orleans gets sued, because all lawsuits against the police department are also against the city of New Orleans.
So you took this man out of his regular position, and the amount of money that he was making, whether it was $200,000 or whether it was $1,000, doesn't matter. The man's doing his job, And that has already been proven as well. And that's something interesting that we're looking at now. And I hope that the other news organizations, including the paper and television stations, understand that you all are reporting on something that you really have no idea what you're reporting. You're not doing your follow-up. You're not doing your research. And y'all just going by what's being said to you by these folks that's involved in this, trying to smear this man's name. And I'm telling you, you all going to get sued too.
I don't understand. I read the article that was written in the newspaper.
Yep.
And I don't understand how you write that kind of article
without doing any research?
Without doing the research to realize that there is a pattern of conduct that is a public record.
Yep.
That they could have easily looked at and did not look at it at all. It just seemed to me to be an article that was written from one perspective and one perspective only, and not looking at the totality of the facts and circumstances.
And if you operate that way, especially when you're doing this type of work, that's hearsay. It's hearsay. There's no allegedly. There's no nothing but this is what we see. This is what it is. Y'all believe what we say. Don't pay any attention to that man behind the curtain, the wizard.
And it's not good for us, the public, okay? I mean, we need people to feel confident that when they see something wrong within NOPD or within any city entity, they blow a whistle. They report it. They bring it to people's attention. They shine light on it, because that's what protects us as citizens. That's what makes us safe. So, covering up something or supporting something that should not have occurred and then disciplining the whistleblower is not in the public interest.
And I've gotten to the point now where you can tell when somebody's telling the truth or somebody's just trying to smear you. And when we've seen so much going on with all the entities that have jumped on one side, and then it was something that you said the other day that made me stand up and go, you got a good point. Where we have the folks that's doing the investigation is actually a chemistry teacher.
I could not believe it when I'm reading the article, okay, and they're making it sound like they've got this great expert on policing that, it supports every fact they have in their article. And then you look at who the source is, and the source is a UNO chemistry teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is nothing about that. If they had told me their source on policing was Warren Riley or Michelle Woodfork or, someone who had been in the department for over 20 years, then I would have said, okay, hey, that's a credible source. That's someone who knows what's supposed to happen, knows the police officer's Bill of Rights, knows how these investigations are supposed to be conducted, and is speaking from a position of authority. But no, you're citing to a chemistry teacher at UNO?
Yep. And
he can tell me about love potion number 9, but he can't tell me about policing.
I knew you were going to go there.
He can't tell me about policing. I'm sorry.
Isn't that a song?
In the courtroom, he would get laughed out of a courtroom. He would be challenged on what we call as lawyers Daubert, the Daubert principle, meaning, you have to prove that you have the knowledge, the skill, the education to be able to speak on a certain topic. And if you can't prove that you have that knowledge, you get struck on what we call a Daubert standard. This guy would not meet a Daubert standard in any courthouse in America on the issue of policing. He is not a credible expert on that particular subject.
And that was trying to say that there was some type of fraud with this man's timesheets.
Absolutely. What makes him an expert on that?
So,
He's never worked in a police department. He's never worked in administration. He's never had timesheets submitted to him. He's never reviewed timesheets. He's never approved timesheets. I could slaughter this man on the stand and strike him down as an expert in 10 minutes with questioning. So I don't understand why a newspaper is thinking that this man is credible to be considered an expert on policing.
Or a whole city. Not even a television station or a radio station or a newspaper. I'm talking about a whole city.
He may be an expert on,
Love
chemistry
potion number 9.
and love potion number 9. And I would call him in a case where I needed a chemistry expert, right? What is the makeup of this chemical? How does it interact with one another? How will it impact the human body? I'll call him on that because his education and his professional experience give him the knowledge to be helpful to a trier of fact. But in this particular instance, this guy can't help me to understand policing. Call Lombard. Call Michelle Woodfork. Call Warren Riley. Call a real expert in policing if you want to know about policing.
I can tell you. I'd be an expert about policing. Never mind, I ain't even playing with you.
Well, you're just as qualified as the chemistry teacher.
Just as qualified. But I don't understand how we got here. Because this seems to be...
I understand how we got here because I'm going to tell you.
Retaliation for what?
I'm going to tell you. I always say it on this station. Follow the money. I'm just going to throw this theory out. And this is a conspiracy theory because, I'm the vice president of the Conspiracy Theory Club.
Welcome aboard.
Here you have a black, highly paid officer. Who's working with the FBI in a very coveted position.
Yep.
I think somebody wanted his job for their friend. That's just my 2 cents. I think somebody wanted this position, wanted this job. Why does he have it? It's a way to take him down. Another theory is it has been alleged that he knew Mayor Cantrell very well.
Mm-hmm. You've heard that too.
Okay, and Cantrell may, have liked him. May have not. I'm not going to use the word like. That may be misconstrued. But he was an officer that she knew and trusted.
Mm-hmm.
I think this may be a way to try to get at Mayor Cantrell, trying to bring him down. There's a number of reasons, but these are conspiracy theories. I agree, right? But I just have to say that when you look at the facts of what is happening to Detective Cockerham, and you look at the facts of what occurred with Jay Mehring, you can't deny that this is very similar.
And one of the issues that, I know it, but it's coming through just to remind me that one of the complaints that's coming through with the NOPD and the police officers is that, and I tried to invite this man to come to the show and explain himself to me, and he's put me off at least 3 times. I'm not going to beg you, but it really bothered me, the fact that I invited you to come to the show to have conversation. I'm talking about Skip Gallagher, because I'm getting complaints from the officers saying, how come all the complaints that are coming through, or those that he's doing research or supposedly research on, are all black officers? And you're putting a 96, and I'm just getting this through, it says 96% of Skip Gallagher's complaints are on black officers. And even one of the organizations is doing research on that now.
I think they should do some research on that.
Exactly.
I think, too, that Mr. Gallagher sees that we now have a void. Dr. Peter Scharf was a nationally recognized criminologist. I want to add that, criminologist.
And Dr. Penny, too.
Right, and he died at the age of 78 following a brief illness in August of 2023. Dr. Scharf wasn't specifically tied in public reporting to NOPD, but he did do NOPD statistical reviews. And I think that Mr. Gallagher thinks that he may be able to step into Dr. Scharf's shoes and become the expert statistician. But he was a criminologist, not a chemistry teacher.
So what makes you qualified for that, though?
He's not.
No.
He's qualified to make love potion number 9, though.
Love potion number 9, yes, sir, he is.
We say, bro, we all get together for her birthday and go get some stuff and make a potion called Love Potion number 9 just for her. Her own scent.
Oh my God. We got more coming up, folks.
She's gonna hold us to it.
I'm not even gonna say that because you're giving me that look right now. More coming up, folks.
My name is Armand Gillespie.
And this is Philip Thomas.
And we are the Balled Online podcast where we cover all the major sports topics. But today we come to you all to talk about a more serious topic.
Suicide prevention. A little less than a week ago, a young, talented football player named Marshawn Nealon took his life after scoring his first NFL touchdown.
We stress the importance of life and how precious every person is. We on Balled Online Podcast hope if you're ever going through anything to please reach out to a loved one.
And if you think you have no one to turn to, please call 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Remember, you are loved and cherished in every possible way.
Peace and always love from us. And remember, ball don't lie. Peace.
Hi, I'm Imani Godan, founder of GoDance. GoDance is a nonprofit interdisciplinary dance organization rooted in New Orleans, providing access to dance education and sustainable, wellness-centered art practices. Right now, you can be a part of this work by participating in our Key to Your Heart house raffle. Our programs are open, inclusive, and community-centered, supporting artists, students, and creatives at every stage. Your involvement helps expand access, education, and opportunity for artists of all ages. To learn more and get involved, visit GoDance, GAUDANSE.org.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
WBOK online at WBOK1230.com. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. In the building, the attorney extraordinaire. Yes, indeed. We got Suzette Bagnaris with us on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
This
Going up on a Tuesday.
This must be really, really important for you.
Look, I think it's a very important issue. There's a lot of important things I want to talk about this week, but I think this is an important issue because we need people to come forward without fear of reprisal. I think it's very important for public safety that we have people who are willing to come forward without reprisal. And I have to say, since we first did this issue, the first show on this issue, numerous police officers have contacted us to say they have been victims of retaliation within the department.
And some really big ones.
And
I mean, I'm
here's
not
some
talking
really
about
big names.
Some upper brass.
You would be shocked at some of the people who have come forward to say, I was a whistleblower and I was retaliated against. Very credible, very high-profile figures. High-ranking figures in the NOPD who had a disagreement of sorts with Kirkpatrick and then were shunned as a result. That's a good word for it, shunned as a result. So, it's just not the way to run a police force. And then in speaking with Bob Dunn, as our listeners will hear very soon, this is a pattern of conduct for her. And I don't understand how the people who vetted her for this position didn't know her history and the problems she had in other police departments. Because it didn't take us long to find it, Gerod.
No, it didn't take us long to find it, but I think we had stopped looking for it because everybody was like, oh, welcome. Oh.
Well, I think we were so distracted by the fact that one of New Orleans' own, who was eminently qualified for the position, Michelle Woodfork, was pushed aside and did not get the position.
Mhm.
I think we were so distracted by that, and that was where our attention went, that we were not looking at the past, the history, and the pattern of conduct of the person who was selected instead of her.
But I wanted to be able to say that we had, at that point, a homegirl that knew where she wanted to go, had a plan, and
the plan is being used, by the way.
Well,
her plan is being used.
Well, I could understand that in what you're saying, because the day that the city council called Kirkpatrick to the city council, I sat in the city council right beside Michelle Woodfork. And I heard it for myself when they started, and you can ask her, anybody can ask her, and I'll be the first one to tell you. When I say I said something, I'm a own it. So I'm owning this because I was sitting right beside Michelle Woodfork when they put on the screens at the city council the plan that Kirkpatrick said that she wanted to use. And I was sitting right beside Michelle Woodfork when she said, wait a minute, that's my plan.
Oh, it is widely known
And the
in NOPD that her plan is being implemented.
And the person that picked it up on the city council was Oliver Thomas. Oliver Thomas had already seen it. And Oliver said, wait a minute, that's the same plan that the former chief was using. Are you using that plan? And she had to get her senses about herself and say, yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan that she was using. And then I would be the first one to say this too, because I had talked to her. And I noticed that when I was talking to Michelle on the phone, that there was an echo. I said, where the heck are you? She said, G, you ain't gonna believe this. They done put me in an office in the back.
I heard that as well, that she was moved, ostracized, put in a corner in the back, not given any job responsibilities or duties.
Sit there
right.
With the door shut.
Right. That's what I heard. I heard that she was absolutely being mistreated. And I did not hear that necessarily from her, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I heard that she was shoved in an office with no rank, no responsibility, nothing to do right after Kirkpatrick took her position.
Yep. And then in that same day that we saw all this stuff happening in city council, I remember Freddie King, Councilman Freddie King, asked the question, and I'm just going back through the history of how this thing has transpired. Freddie King asked the question, and the question was, instead of moving Ms. Woodfork out of the way, can we come back? And since you have 4 stars, can we at least create a position for her to have 3 stars? Now, the question was asked, but publicly, I don't think it was answered. And the only person that I heard talk about it at that time, and look, Oliver Thomas did not vote to confirm her. Now, the rest of the city council did. But Oliver said, it's not that I don't like you, Chief. It's not that I have anything against you. I am for my homie. She's a homegirl, and she knows the city. I'm voting no for you. I'm voting for Woodfork. And he said that publicly. And he told it. He was the only city council that did. And now that all this stuff is coming up, I'm like, wait a minute, is this retaliation? What is this concern? But yet, when we learn about the police Bill of Rights, I'm like, they violated all of this man's rights. And I'm not even talking about a policeman. I'm talking about just a man. Just think if it was me and you. We didn't even have no police power.
Well, first of all, I'm just going to say, I'm not that lawyer. That interrogation would have been over. The minute you told me that I could not speak, I could not give an opening statement, I could not cross-examine, I could not object, I could not give a closing, Thank you very much. We'll reconvene after we take this up with the district court. I'm just going to say that's just who I am. I may be different. I'm built different. I understand that.
So I would have been that. I would have been that guy at the. You ever seen the commercial when he's sitting there because his boss went to Georgia Bulldogs, and she's like, "Let me talk to you." Da da da. And he goes, "Ruff, ruff, 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 ruff." And you would have said that would have been like, "Ruff, ruff." It's the bulldog.
Yeah, I'm just built different. I'm sorry. This is over. I mean, I've shut down depositions before. You're not gonna tell me I can't protect my client. That's my job. But nonetheless, everybody's built different. Everybody handles things differently. I just think that in this particular instance, if what we have heard is true about the way this particular hearing was conducted, it does not appear to have been in conformity with the police officer's Bill of Rights.
All right. Where we at? You got the what you call it yet? No. Him so slow.
Well, again, for those of you who are just joining us, you may want to tell a few people to tune in because we are going to slow the conversation down today. We're going to talk about, the serious issue. We're going to bring in attorney Bob Dunn, who is a civil rights attorney out of Spokane, Washington, who represented Detective Jay Mering in a landmark retaliation case against then Spokane Police Chief Ann Kirkpatrick. We want you to be able to judge for yourself whether the facts of that case are similar to the facts of this case. And we want you to judge for yourself whether you think NOPD, Ann Kirkpatrick, and the city of New Orleans are placing themselves at risk for a similar verdict here.
All right, y'all. More coming up. We'll have a conversation with Mr. Dunn in just a minute out of Spokane. We'll call him and have some conversation coming up. News is next.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now. President Donald Trump is throwing shade at the Grammy Awards. Truth be told, he's got beef with the black host, Trevor Noah.
I thought the whole Grammys was terrible. I watched part of it. It's not watchable. But he was a lousy host. I'd say not as bad as Jimmy Kimmel, but pretty close. And no, he made a statement about me and Jeffrey Epstein. I have nothing to do with that.
So that was Trump a day after the awards show, saying to reporters in the Oval Office that Noah had incorrectly accused him of visiting Jeffrey Epstein's island. Newly elected mayor of New York says trash is piling up in the city as they fight back an invasion of snow. Finally, Lil Wayne reacting to yet another Grammy snub. In a social media post, he compared himself to former New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick, who hasn't been able to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. It is an interesting day. Let me see. Miss Shantae, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Yourself?
I just have a statement to make. I feel that the police are policing police, which has delays, denial, no transparency, they're biased and favors for colleagues on the force. That's a crime, I feel. Mm-hmm. All investigations should be investigated properly. Police are protecting one another. We need accountability. My son was murdered by NOPD police officer Victor Gant's son. Victor Gant also works under the New Orleans mayor, Helena Moreno. False charges by NOPD was put on my son, and he was deceased over 2 months before my son was accused of this violent crime. So I'm listening to this case that y'all are speaking about with the NOPD officers. So I say this, if NOPD can violate their own officers' justice, what chances do I have as a mother fighting for justice for her son's murder? If they can lie and cover up because this officer is speaking truth, I don't stand a chance, right? But I will not stop until justice is served properly for my son, Jason Lee Scott.
Yeah.
I'm his mother.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. I know.
Yes.
We got trust me, Shantae. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I think last week I told you the same thing that we gonna get to you. I hate to say, just hold on, but
yes.
we trying to get one at a time because we gotta we small,
I
but
got you.
we gonna get big. Yeah,
We're peeling back the layers of this onion one
shred
layer
at
a time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we are getting somewhere.
Yep.
And I think you have a very valid statement you just made. And this is why we need transparency. And this is why it's so important that we do shows like this.
Yeah.
Where we do speak truth to power and do request accountability.
Yeah. So just hang with us. Just be with us. I know it's hard to ask somebody to be patient, but just be patient with us, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. I appreciate the call. All right, joining us now from Spokane, Washington. He's on the phone with us. Attorney Bob Dunn is on with us. Attorney Dunn, how are you, sir?
Good afternoon. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Let's start by saying thank you, number one, for picking up the phone and having the conversation, because the attorney you spoke with earlier is with us too, and that is Attorney Suzette Bagnaris.
Thank you so much, Bob. And for listeners joining us, can you just briefly tell them a little bit about your practice and the kind of cases that you handle?
Well, my primary practice is a trial practice, litigation practice, and I do mostly employment litigation. And it turns out over the 40 years that I've been doing this, most of my litigation is probably against governmental entities.
And you represented a detective named Jay Mering in a Spokane case that has really caught our attention here in New Orleans. We understand you received a favorable jury verdict against a sitting police chief in that case, who happens to be a sitting police chief here in New Orleans now. When did you first meet Detective Mering, and what were you initially looking at in that case?
Well, I met Jay in October, November of 2009, when he was a police officer in the Spokane Police Department. And he came to me because he had been terminated from his employment. And then the story that he told surrounding that termination, number one, it made me angry. And number two, I vowed that I would represent him and see if we couldn't find him some element of justice in how he was being treated and how he had been treated.
Did it appear to you to be routine justice, routine discipline, or something else?
No, it was something else. Ann Kirkpatrick was the police chief. She had come to Spokane, and I don't even know where she came from, to tell you the truth. I wasn't really much into local politics at the time and the vetting process for the new police chief. And it turned out that she became the police chief after a supposed vetting process. And when I was presented the facts by Jay, I was alarmed that we could have a police chief in Spokane that could be as vile and vituperative and mean-spirited as this particular police chief was in dealing with Jay's situation.
What were some of the facts that you were presented with in the Mering case?
So Jay was an undercover detective. He was working with the DEA, and he was working for a drug enforcement task agency.
So it's a task force that he had specialties with.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I said, okay, so he was one of those that had a specialty working with task force.
He was a longtime detective and worked with the Washington State Patrol, dealing with some really bad characters in Eastern Washington, throughout Eastern Washington. And at the time, he was going through a divorce, and the divorce was a tad bit contentious. And it turned out that a couple of the other supervisors over Mering got wind of his contentious divorce, and they ginned up a story about threats that Jay purportedly had made against his soon-to-be ex-wife. And as a result of that, Kirkpatrick heard about it and then started a vindictive campaign to terminate his employment and actually ruin his career. As the case developed, it turned out that the threats that were purportedly made were concocted by these two supervisors because they had issues with Jay personally. And then Kirkpatrick ran with that because Jay, as an undercover cop, he didn't fit the mold of the original uniformed police officer, and that apparently rankled her. And as a result, she targeted him for a campaign that ended up with him being terminated.
Attorney Dunn, did there seem to be a lot of publicity, newspaper, radio, television? Did that seem to also come out and smear Detective Dunn, Maring's name?
Oh yeah, Kirkpatrick likes to use the press to gin herself up and to puff up her purported reputation as a real police chief. And as it turns out, they took this purported threat that Jay had made against his wife, and they called him to a meeting and had him paraded in front of all of his peers to a closed room, and took his badge and his firearm.
And that was a hearing?
And then fired him. And right after the firing, Kirkpatrick went on local television that's broadcast throughout Eastern Washington, and then outed him, named him by name, identified that he was being arrested for a felony assault, verbal assault against his wife, and did it all in front of the news media and the television people.
Now, let me ask this question before you move on, though. Was there any truth to this issue with his wife? Was there any witnesses? Was there any scarring? Was there any assault pictures? Anything taken?
None. She came forward and said it was all made up. She had originally signed a declaration that he had threatened her, but she later said that these two supervisors over Jay had strong-armed her into signing it so that they could justify this vilification that they were plotting and planning against him. Mm-hmm. And so he went on trial for a felony. He was acquitted. His wife testified in the trial. But even after the trial, Kirkpatrick decided that she didn't have enough blood from this particular campaign. So she continued to spread this story that he was a bad police officer, and refused to hire him back even after he was acquitted at trial. And for 17 months, he was without pay.
17 months. We're here with an officer with 18 months. So that seems to be very similar. And just so far with the things that you have mentioned, the similarities that stick out to us is that Chad Cockerham here in New Orleans was on an FBI special task force. Yeah. And he did not work a traditional police job because he frequently worked from home and surveilled cameras in order to report serious drug activity and crime in New Orleans to NOPD and the FBI. That's one similarity. The next similarity is that there were repeated investigations that were unfruitful. They didn't bear any fruit. There was no real wrongdoing, but yet they won't admit that they're wrong and stop. She's just like a dog with a bone, which is what I'm hearing from you with respect to what happened in Spokane.
And a violation of the Policeman's Bill of Rights in every department that you could possibly think of from all the revised statutes.
You know what? I heard that she after the Maring trial, and let me just tell you what the ending of that was. So we brought a lawsuit against the city of Spokane and Kirkpatrick individually, and we brought a lawsuit based on the violation of his civil rights and a number of other claims, tortious interference with his contract and gross negligence against her, infliction of emotional distress, all of those claims. the jury that we impaneled in that case, they ended up giving a unanimous award. And Jay got over $500,000 in just non-economic damages. And we've got punitive damages specifically against Kirkpatrick. I mean, the jury was asked, did defendant Kirkpatrick commit intentional or reckless infliction of emotional distress? They answered yes. And was the intentional or reckless infliction of emotional distress or outrage by Kirkpatrick a proximate cause of his emotional distress? And they answered yes. And so the final question was, did the defendant city retaliate against the plaintiff for filing a lawsuit against it? And that was Kirkpatrick. So what you're describing is a modus operandi. So after the trial, she didn't last long here after that jury verdict. I'm told she went over as a consultant or some sort of lecturer on the west side of Washington State in the Seattle area. And then just by happenstance, I learned that she apparently was hired as a police chief at the Oakland Police Department. Mm-hmm. And then apparently she, for some reason, ended up in New Orleans. And I take issue with the vetting process that's been in place in these other cities. Scratching my head how she could continue being number one in the business of policing, but number two, how she could be a police chief again. It's beyond me. When we were in trial, she came to trial the first several days dressed in civilian garb, business suits, and she sat there. So when I called her, she ended up coming in her uniform for the first time, mm-hmm. and she was wearing 4 stars, and
she was still the chief
as the police chief, and the former police chief had 3 stars. So one of the first things I asked her, I said, "What prompted you to put a 4-star on your epaulet?" And she said, "Don't disgrace the uniform." And I'm a former military person myself, and I'm very respectful of uniforms. But I was curious why she thought she needed an extra star. Mm-hmm. As it was, she started crying on the stand and then stormed out of the courtroom.
You made her cry?
We had to go on an adjournment so we could track her down and bring her back to the courtroom.
That's a lawyer after my own heart.
But
making the witness cry on the stand.
But Attorney Dunn, and I want to answer one of your questions when you said that you didn't understand how she became a police chief again. One of the questions that I had when she first got here, and I asked her about her vetting, it was not necessarily the vetting of the city, in my opinion. It was the vetting of the International Association of Chiefs of Police that vetted her. And my question to her was, why did you apply for this job since that you had just won this big lawsuit from the city of Oakland, which was $1.2 million? Did you really need this job? And she kind of gave me a good answer, but I went a little bit further in asking her about that job, and she ended up saying she didn't apply for it. She said that she was asked to apply for it. I asked her by who, and she wouldn't tell me. She said that she signed an NDA not to disclose it. But the relevance to me was about her in Spokane, Washington, and Olympia, Washington, which was the headquarters for the Washington State Troopers. The head of that, who was the head of also the chiefs of police in their, I think in their reckoning of who was number 1 vice president, number 2, and number 3, was a man by the name of Ronald Surpass, who was also the head of the Washington State Police.
Right.
He's here now. And I think that there's a correlation between the two of them.
Well, there may be. I don't know anything about that,
right.
But I do know that she's a mean-spirited person. And if I was on the vetting committee that was in the city that she next went to, I'll tell you what, she wouldn't get the job.
I got to tell you, it took me 10 minutes on Google to find your marrying case and you, and tons of articles about it, if 10 minutes. So I don't understand how the people who vetted her for this police chief job in New Orleans did not read this Mering decision. I mean, the minute I read it, it just really struck me in the face as being analogous to the situation that we find ourselves here in New Orleans. And I have to tell you, since we did our initial story on your case, the Mering case, and what's happening here with Officer Cockerham, we have had numerous police officers here in New Orleans who have come forward to say that they too have been victims of repeated investigations that have gone nowhere, and they have been accused of dishonesty and insubordination and being untruthful, and there has been a witch hunt as to them and discipline held against them without due process. And so to me, it seemed very analogous to the situation there in Spokane.
Well, I mean, if I had to guess, I would assume that she surrounded herself with 2 or 3 of her lieutenants, and they're carrying out her bidding, and it won't stop until she's either removed or the police officer in question decides that he can't be a police officer anymore there.
Gerod and I have found, in looking at the documents that people are sending to us, that the same officers in her rank are the ones who are on every last one of these reports that are complaints against these officers. That seems to ring true here too. I'd like to know, was Detective Mering accused of dishonesty and insubordination?
Oh, all of that. Yeah,
He was.
just go down the list of things that police officers are accused of, and Jay Mering was accused of it. She dragged up every possible kind of accusation against him that she could, and he was vindicated. He wasn't even allowed to have a Laudermail hearing on this. She denied him that. She put an X on his forehead and decided that she was going to march forward until he was no longer a police officer in Spokane, and she was going to make it a vendetta, and that's what she did until we got a jury verdict against her for $250,000.
Let's talk about the damage of branding a detective as untruthful. To me, one of the things that struck me is that our detective here, Cockerham, has been involved in so many high-profile drug and violent crime cases for both the NOPD and the FBI.
Yes.
And by branding him as untruthful, to me, that seems to have an impact on all of the criminal cases that officer worked for. It seems so reckless for a superintendent to do that.
It's over 100 cases.
Well, we didn't have that situation so much as a situation where Jay was in fear for his life because he was dealing with some really bad people on a daily basis to support convictions that were going to be coming down the pike for a number of hardcore cartel people. And in fact, during the trial, one of the key cases that Jay had been working on involved a Colombian, and he had told me the name of the Colombian, and I asked her during her testimony if she knew a particular name, and she said, "Yeah, that name sounds familiar. I think maybe he's in our maintenance department." And everybody who was involved in the DEA investigations that Jay was involved in knew exactly who I was referring to. Yet she didn't have a clue. So when she outed him on television and on the radio and in the local newspapers, Jay was in fear for his life because I identified him by name.
Oh wow!
And by name, his residence was identified as well. So,
oh my goodness!
There was some real concern that
in front of a cartel.
There was real concern that her stupidity and arrogance in outing him in front of the media would cost him or maybe his family's life. So it was a very serious transgression on her report.
In Mering, the jury didn't just hold the police department accountable. It also held the city accountable, and they held the police chief personally liable.
Yes, that's right.
What do you think it was that made the jury hold her personally liable?
Well, we brought a federal action, 1983 action against her personally, and so based on her violation of his civil rights, she qualified for punitive damages against her, and that's what the jury awarded $250,000 against her in punitive damages.
Can you explain a little bit, if you could, for the guys over here that's not an attorney, and you can talk to me like I'm two, what those civil rights charges were?
Yeah, well, the basic allegation in a 1983 civil rights claim is the notion that you have under federal constitutional law the right to have your civil rights protected. In this case, it was the fact that she outed him in terms of his privacy that triggered the actions. And so if you can claim that there was a malicious campaign against you, and it was reckless or willful in violation of right to liberty and property interests, which in this case property interests were his job, you can file an action claiming that violation of due process and violation of your civil rights, and the person who did it can be held personally liable. And in this case, it was Kirkpatrick. She was held personally liable for violating his civil rights.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Dunn, what would you say to an officer listening right now who knows something is wrong but is afraid to come forward because of the threat of retaliation?
Well, they say you can't sue or fight City Hall. I mean, they say that. I made a career of doing it, but you got to find somebody who's not afraid of taking on the institution. And I'd say find a really good mean bulldog of a lawyer and take them on. I mean, there are laws to protect those of us that don't have the status and the bearing and the teeth that municipalities and the government has, but there are means and ways available to take them on. And that would be my advice. It sounds like you got a case that's very similar to Jay Mering's, and good people on juries usually do the right things. I've found over the years that I've been doing this. I'm not afraid of letting 12 people decide the fate of an individual if in fact you've got the facts to back it up.
Mr. Dunn, I have one final question for you. What is the single biggest lesson from the Mering case that police leadership should have learned but often doesn't?
Well, when you say leadership, are you talking about Kirkpatrick or? I'm
talking about Kirkpatrick in particular.
That she should have given up being a police officer. That was the biggest lesson that she should have learned out of this. And it turns out that my gut feeling and my initial assessment after the jury case that we prevailed in has been borne out down in New Orleans.
Mr. Dunn, I want to thank you for your time. You are just a giant lawyer among lawyers, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
Yes, sir.
Anytime.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate you because you didn't have to pick up the phone at all, but we appreciate that call and filling us in, too.
You're most welcome. And good luck to your officer.
Thank you so much.
You, sir. All righty. That is Attorney Bob Dunn out of Spokane, Washington. We'll take the break here. Anybody want to get in on the conversation? 504-582-9422. More coming up next.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by FidelityInvestments.com. Offscript Media has its eyes on the future of content. It's a vertically integrated and creator-powered media and commerce company that views itself as a one-stop shop for someone making content. Detavio Samuels is CEO of Offscript, and he says the company is focused on content creators in social.
Yeah, look, I think that social is the number one platform that matters. It's where all of the world's attention is. So often you're finding these people because they are popping or doing something really incredible in social. But when it comes to how can you help monetize them, how can you build them, do they have real proof points that they can create long-form content that can sustain attention? YouTube is that space.
Offscript is charting new territory, taking the more traditional idea of an A&R at a record label and updating it for the digital age. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
In plain view for all to see, during a peaceful protest in Minneapolis, Minnesota, they gunned down a helpless man in broad daylight and then attempted to tell us that we didn't see what we saw. In fact, we sure as hell did see Border Patrol police slam VA nurse Alex Preddy to the ground, gang up on him like a pack of wild rabid dogs, beat and shoot him to death after they disarmed him. Preddy, a U.S. citizen, was not a threat. Video recording showed him only attempting to help an unidentified woman who was being thrown around by the Border Patrol goons like she was a rag doll. Preddy had been recording the incident with his cell phone. While Preddy lay dying, the Trump administration, without empathy or sensitivity regarding the tragedy and prior to an investigation, immediately began spreading a false narrative that Preddy approached the officers with a gun in his hand with intent to harm law enforcement. The video of the encounter clearly shows that Preddy was holding a phone, not a gun. The officers did find a gun in his waistband. It's not against the law to carry a concealed handgun in Minnesota if you have a license. There's no evidence that he ever reached for the weapon, which incidentally was already in police custody before they shot him. This was the second fatal shooting by immigration police, who 3 weeks earlier shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good, also a U.S. citizen. She was shot inside her car as she tried to drive away from Border Patrol. The White House called the deadly shooting justifiable, alleging she attempted to run over the officers. The video tells a different story. Both tragedies have drawn widespread outrage, with citizens and lawmakers from both sides of the aisle calling for an investigation. The two shooters involved in the killing of the VA nurse have now been placed on leave. Gregory Bovino, the man heading Border Patrol, has been removed from his position. There are also calls for the resignation of Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem. This crisis, ladies and gentlemen, demonstrates the dangerous situation faced by all of us at the hands of an incompetent, mendacious White House administration that would seemingly run a mile to tell a lie rather than just walk across the street to tell the truth. 2 innocent people are dead, a nation grieves, many of us are angry, even some Republicans are fed up. Maybe it's time to put a stop to this deadly foolishness perpetrated by thugs wearing masks, masquerading as law enforcement. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
My wife was frying okra. She's from Mississippi, so that's her favorite thing to do. She left the burner on high, and it didn't take long to ignite. So I ran to the stove, grabbed the pot, and that's when I got burned from a grease fire. And yes, the pain was, it was bad. Oh, Blue Cross treated me great with the recovery process. On the financial side, ooh, it would be expensive without Blue Cross. And that's what I was worrying about because I was out of work for 3 months. I'm Chad. I'm from Baton Rouge, and I had Blue Cross for 10 years. I don't eat fried okra. That's the funniest story.
Louisiana Blue. The right card, the right care.
Tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon to What's Growing New Orleans. Hosted by Angel Vanderpool, What's Growing New Orleans is a weekly conversation about developing and growing Black businesses throughout the region. Brought to you by the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Transform your bathroom with the beautiful quality of Bath Planet. As a trusted leader in bathroom renovation, Bath Planet has earned the Good Housekeeping seal, a symbol of quality and consumer confidence for over 100 years. Get half off installation or 18 months with no interest and no payments. Whether it's tub replacement, a shower replacement, or a tub-to-shower conversion, Bath Planet makes your custom bath fast, easy, and affordable. Here's how it works. 1. Call to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. 2. Our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3. Our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months with no interest and no payments. But you need to call now. This special offer is only available by calling 800-981-8177. That's 800-981-8177. Call 800-981-8177 right now before the offer ends.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Conversation today. The attorney extraordinaire is in the building. That is Suzette Bagnaris from the Bagnaris firm. Don't forget all my folks with the Harvey DMV and food stamp office. Make sure that you are calling Bagnaris today, 504-810-3995. Because if you worked in that building, you need to get you some help.
Go see a doctor.
Yeah, we'll talk to you more about it before we go off the air. All right, you want to take you got something?
No, I just want to say you heard it here.
Yeah.
Bob Dunn said the tone was vile, vindictive, and hateful. And yes, he even used the word stupid.
Yep.
That tells you everything you need to know about the mindset that Chad Cockerham was dealing with.
And it probably still is. Galloway.
What's going on, Brother Jimmy?
Oh, you the man, brother. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. How you doing, attorney?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, New Orleans, we got a problem. Thank y'all for exposing this. I keep telling y'all the black press is going to tell y'all the truth. What disturbs me the most is what she's doing to New Orleans NOPD is what she did in Spokane, Washington.
Sounds like the same MO.
And look, I have a feeling that if I made a few calls, I could probably find the same thing in Oakland.
Yep.
It's a pattern. And what disturbs me the most is he called it. And y'all said it too. She surrounds herself with a bunch of yes men, and they work together to get rid of somebody.
And now the yes men seem to be, I need to put the word allegedly in here because we haven't really had that conversation. The yes men working along with her is not necessarily all those in the NOPD. It has now gotten down to the OIG's office. And I think that the OIG's investigators are also a part of this so-called scenario.
Well, that questions the OIG's independence.
But everybody's been questioning it since the beginning.
Right.
So here we go.
And you got to understand, the city council is not immune from this. I'm talking about the last city council, which is most of them still there. If they did not do their own independent research, like Ms. Suzette did and all of us have done, there's no way I could have voted yes. And like you said, OT was the only one that said no. And for the love of me, I still don't understand how Miss Michelle Woolfolk is not the chief of police or superintendent of NOPD.
Well, you heard Bob Dunn ask, who vetted her? Like, he doesn't think she should have gotten another job in policing anywhere after Spokane.
And you know what y'all just uncovered? Anywhere else in the United States, there would be cameras right now in front of her office asking her questions. But we do not have that corporate media down here like that. They're going to act like they don't know nothing about this until this actually gets exposed in a court of law. And then I don't think they're going to say anything. They're just going to let her ride off into the sunset, probably costing taxpayers millions of dollars. And then Helena is going to bring in who she wants to bring in. I do not put anything past that woman. Her and JP knew about this. I'm telling you, this is too easy to find. So y'all can call me conspiracy theories or whatever. But this lady, Ann Kilpatrick, that's a dirty cop. And something got to be done. Because if she's going to do that to one black police officer, how many more will she do it to?
Well, she has been doing it is the calls we've been getting and the texts we've been getting. This is not an isolated incident.
This is just the one that seemed to have the most, I guess, media behind it that everybody was interested in. And now we got another one today because I understand that a patrolman was arrested for fraud that came from, again, the chemistry teacher.
Right. You know, you heard it here. Bob Dunn did not dance around it. He asked very clearly who vetted her. And that's exactly the question every community should be asking. You know, he made it very clear. I mean, he did not cut any corners. He did not bite his tongue. He said she's vile, she's vindictive, she was harassing people. You know, he did not have a nice thing to say the entire interview.
I want somebody to do a Freedom of Information Act on this chemistry teacher. How is he involving himself in all this NOPD matter? Has he ever been law enforcement?
No.
Has he ever worked with law enforcement?
No.
No, not that we are aware of. And I have to tell you, I think it's financial for him. You know, Dr. Schaaf used to make a whole lot of money analyzing statistics for NOPD. And then he started analyzing statistics for attorneys who were handling wrongful death cases regarding inadequate security and things like that. He made a fortune. And I think this guy sees a void now that Dr. Schaaf has died, and he's trying to fill it. But he doesn't have the same resume that Dr. Schaaf had.
Or
he doesn't
Dr.
have the
Penny.
same resume that Eddie Compass had. You know, Eddie Compass used to do that kind of work too. But he doesn't have the same resume. You know, this guy is a chemistry teacher. And we need to keep calling him a chemistry teacher.
Right.
He don't have a degree in criminal justice?
No.
No.
And the Inspector General has not looked into this? That's what the IG is supposed to be for. If you got somebody on the outside coming in there as a chemistry teacher, has nothing to do with law enforcement, calling the shots, making stuff like this stick,
right.
What is Cam Patrick doing?
So now this police officer today gets arrested for payroll fraud based upon the findings of a chemistry teacher.
Yeah.
That's like me coming down there and taking over WBOK because I can talk. This makes zero sense. Like I say, anywhere else in this country, this would be the front story. Corporate media, I know y'all listening, y'all got to do better.
Yep.
NOPD has a history of corruption, and y'all are letting this one fly under the radar. Somebody's going to have to blow this whistle to big time. I'm talking, take it to your CBS, ABC, the big time stories. Because this right here just ain't right. And now you're destroying black men, one black cop after another, and these are probably some good cops that you're destroying, and you letting these little snakes run around to get up there up in rank, and where are we going from there?
Well, I'm going to tell you, New Orleans is not safer today with Chad Cockerham off the street. Chad Cockerham was the one monitoring all of these crime cameras and going after all these heavy-hitting drug dealers and violent criminals out here in the streets. We are not safer today with him not on the street.
Yep.
And we haven't been safer for the last 18 months.
So
I keep telling folks this is crazy. When I just heard that interview there, I said there's no way this lady should have ever been back in a police uniform.
Yep.
And like you said, the vetting process, if that woman can be the chief of police, I can be the Pope of New Orleans. I'm out of here, man. I got to take me a drink on this one. Y'all have a good
Only
one.
Oliver Thomas saw it.
Yeah.
Only Oliver saw it.
All right, Galloway. Speaking of
right.
Oliver, former councilman Oliver Thomas on the phone with us. Hey, sir.
Yeah, man. How you guys doing? First of all, thank you, if nothing else, for acknowledging on that issue. I always said that a politician, your vote is really what you have. You can say anything, but how you vote is really what you stand for. On Officer Cockerham, you can take the emotional discussion out of it. I can factually tell you that we were safer because of his work. I actually asked them where was he, because statistically, what he did with surveillance, what he did with monitoring crime cameras, what he did at second lines in crowded events,
right.
he was able to get information on people with warrants, violent offenders, people who committed violent acts. So you are absolutely correct, Attorney McNaris. He made a difference, and when we lost him in his expertise, and he was certified by the FBI. Those guys advocated for him. I couldn't understand why someone who was so valuable, especially who was helping lead us in crime reduction, why he was placed on the sideline or why he wasn't part of the force moving forward. That didn't make sense to me.
And we could see it when all that shooting that happened. I forgot exactly what happened at the
around St. Rock, huh? And then they followed.
No, that was near past the Desire.
No, you had the one. You had the one that happened with 9 times. You had a couple other shootings that happened.
And we don't want. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that our reference to that second line has nothing to do with them. It was the people that was misbehaving, and he was not on those crime cameras. And we kind of said, hey, look, as much as we see with the fights that are happening at these second lines, and it's usually several different fights. The people that are breaking up the fights now are not the police. It's the people that's going out there, because we have nobody on those crime cameras saying, hey, y'all got a situation over there, and getting those police officers to where it's happening. And you know that there was an issue, OT, because even though she has a problem with her hearing, she's sitting there doing a press conference while they're still shooting.
Well, all I can tell you is that Chad Cockerham was a difference maker. All of the federal agencies and law enforcement agencies that he worked for, vouched for him. They questioned when he was removed, and I publicly asked, how do you take one of the most valuable pieces, especially in this effort to fight crime and violent crime, and lower our crime stats? How were they placed on the sideline? Especially given the fact that I haven't seen any charges taken against him. I haven't seen any indictment or criminal action. And so it was a mystery to me. So I started to question, well, if nothing else, I mean, what's the deal here?
Right.
So we are not a safer city without his expertise.
And look, I want to kind of go back on something else too, when we were talking about Michelle Woodford. The day that we had to come into the city council, and you were on the bench along with the other 6 city council persons, I wanted to give you your props, because I was sitting there. I said, I witnessed this myself, that you asked the question, and you said, what's the plan to Kirkpatrick? And she said, here's the plan, and started putting it up on the screen. And I'm sitting right beside Michelle Woodford, and she said, that's my plan. And evidently you had already known about the plan, or it had been presented to you, because you were the only person on the council that said, wait a minute, is that the previous plan? That looks like the previous plan that was put up by Michelle. And then during the vote, you're the only one of those council folks that did not vote yes for Kirkpatrick. And I'm saying that in all due respect, because what you said to her, I thought was very nice. You said, it has nothing to do with you. I'm just for my homegirl.
No, I was more specific than that. I said, if it was up to me, Michelle Woodfolk would be sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because thought she had earned the right. Well, it's not rocket science. And, I mean, they're all quoting me now. A year ago, I asked Gilbert Montano a series of questions about the budget because I read the budget. I looked at revenue estimating and collectibles. So why was I the only one who asked those questions? They put it in the editorial to Picayune, and Oliver Thomas called it out. So, but hey, that's here nor there. But Chad Cockerham is absolutely, man, a superhero when you talk about fighting crime. All this other stuff that's going on, I don't understand it.
I don't either.
And I don't understand why we would put one of New Orleans' finest, especially someone who makes a difference on the sideline, or threaten them with their job unless there's something really gross and egregious. So, guys, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm going to, I support our high schools. I ain't politicking. I just go out to support our kids. We going to the game right now. So bless y'all. Thank y'all, and keep doing what you keep fighting for justice.
You got it, brother.
Thanks for calling
Appreciate you. All right. Former Councilman Oliver Thomas. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
AURN News.
I'm Ebony McMorris. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit ruled that the Trump administration illegally stripped temporary protection status from Venezuelans and Haitians. In its decision, the court said Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, overstepped her legal authority when she attempted to undo or vacate a Biden-era TPS extension for Venezuela, terminate Venezuela's TPS early, and shorten Haiti's TPS period midstream. Judges were clear that federal law does not allow DHS to rewrite or erase TPS protections once they've been lawfully granted. The court affirmed the lower court's ruling and set aside all those actions under the Administration Procedure Act, calling the administration's moves unlawful. Now, hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan and Haitian immigrants remain protected, allowed to work, stay with their families, and avoid deportation. The ruling sends a strong message that immigration enforcement still must follow the law. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
Hi, I'm Imani Godan, founder of Godance. Godance is a nonprofit interdisciplinary dance organization rooted in New Orleans, providing access to dance education and sustainable, wellness-centered art practices. Right now, you can be a part of this work by participating in our Key to Your Heart house raffle. Our programs are open, inclusive, and community-centered, supporting artists, students, and creatives at every stage. Your involvement helps expand access, education, and opportunity for artists of all ages. To learn more and get involved, visit GAUDANCE.org.
The Ron Kelly Show. Real talk, bold truth. Tune in for your weekly dose of unapologetic conversations that don't dodge the truth or dilute the message. Stay informed on the issues that matter most on The Ron Kelly Show. Every Monday at 7 p.m. on WBOK 1230 AM.
From Gentilly to New Orleans East, WBOK is what New Orleans is talking about. WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Say, bro, you got to mute us on this thing because everybody's saying you're leaving our mics wide open and stuff. They can hear our conversation.
And you know me and G, we say
you
all
see me in
kinds
here
of
hitting the
stuff
button
back
and
here.
trying to turn it off, huh?
You got to turn your...
No, I was turning it off. It didn't want to turn off on me.
Well, I tell you what.
You know how to pot it down?
We say all kinds of things on these mics in here during the break. So, we need to...
we cussers.
It happened.
We cussers.
Well, I just want to go to this. When Oliver Thomas says we were safer because of Chad Cockerham's work, that should matter in this conversation about accountability and fairness. When Oliver Thomas says we were safer because of Chad Cockerham's work, that should raise serious questions about how we treat the people who protect this city. Those are Oliver Thomas's words, and he would know. Yeah. And then you couple that with Bob Dunn's words, and when Bob Dunn says the woman was vindictive, she was vile, she was hateful, and quote unquote stupid. and shouldn't have the job and shouldn't be in law enforcement anymore. I mean, it is what it is. These are two people who we didn't ask to say these things. We don't control what they have to say, and that's their assessment.
Yep. All right, let's take Sad. Sad.
I think that was very powerful for him to say, and we're talking about an attorney that beat her in a court of law. She should not be a police officer. So I wonder what the FBI, the state troopers, NOPD, and all the court systems on all those three levels, I wonder what they are thinking, because this looked like, as you all said last week, Pandora's box. And since the current administration wanted to keep her, what is your current position on this? Since the city council pretty much wanted to keep her, what's your position on this?
I think this should
Somebody
be brought up.
owes us an explanation, and I'm glad that the Black Police Organization came out with a statement. Now it's time for the NAACP, SCLC, and some of these prominent Black churches and preachers to come out with a statement. I'll hang up and listen.
I would agree. It's time for us to start coming together and using our collective voices. And you ask an excellent question. Now that you have heard the interview with attorney Bob Dunn, now that you have heard what Councilman Thomas has to say on the issue, what is the city council going to do? What is the mayor going to do? Are you going to continue down this road with a frivolous retaliation claim against us, a great officer who kept us safe? Or are you going to change course and recognize that you've gone down the wrong path? Don't expose us, the taxpayer, to a big judgment.
Because it's coming.
It's coming. The train is coming.
The train is coming. And I don't think that nobody wants to get ran over by this one. Because it sounds like there's going to be a lot of folks or organizations that are involved. But before we even get there, let me ask you, if I'm Jason Williams, I wonder how he feels when you have a police officer like Chad Cockerham that actually brings you these cases.
The feds, the FBI.
And the FBI.
I mean, this is serious.
If I'm a defense attorney, I'm salivating at the mouth right now.
Let me tell you, I think this has serious ramifications that I don't think they even considered. I think they blindly ran into this situation without thinking this through. This is a man who, number one, kept us safe. We were safer because he was doing his job. You know that movie where they say, you're safer because I'm on the wall and I'm watching, what was that, A Few Good Men? What was that? He says, I'm safer because you can sleep at night because I'm on the wall and I'm watching. Chad Cockerham was on the wall. He was the one watching, and we were safer because of that. Now you take him out the equation, and you've also jeopardized hundreds of pending law enforcement investigations of which he was a part and past law enforcement activity and convictions of which he was a part. This seems so short-sighted to me.
And what do we do with those that may be victims of some type of crime?
They're the real losers here.
Yeah.
Sounds like the city of New Orleans is the real losers here.
And y'all gonna end up paying for this if this has to go to court, or if because I know if it was me, I'm not gonna sit back and just let this happen.
Well, look, Bob Dunn has already said, I'll help you.
Yep.
I'll take his help.
Watch out, Bob Dunn coming down from Spokane. All right, folks, that's going to wrap things up. Attorney Bagnaris, make sure, folks, call. If you are not listening to the radio show, if you know somebody that worked at that Harvey location of the DMV and food stamp office, call us. There was something wrong with that building. From 2019 up until 2024, there was something really wrong with that building. Call the law office, 504-810-3995. do that.
And just pray for me and Gerard. We do have to make it home safely.
Yes, we do.
Mr. Officer, Mr. Officer.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Y'all have a great day.
Hey, what's up? This is Antonio Daniels.
And Joel Myers. And get ready. The Sports Report is up next
on WBOK.